Welcome to episode 3. We're going to get straight into it today. Today we are still breaking down our how to pair wine with pizza post. It's our last time doing this post. Like I said before, I just think pizza is way too important and I wanted to give this post at least 3 tries. So we started with the red for episode 1. We switched up to a white wine in episode 2. And then now we are going to pair buffalo chicken pizza with a Kabinett Riesling, which I'm nervous about, you guys, because I don't like Rieslings. But I hope that this changes my mind. The whole point of this podcast for me anyway was to just learn more about wine. And yeah, I have to try all the things, even though I think I might not like them. So that's what we're doing today. Let's first start with the wine. I also don't really know what we're going to talk about today, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I might yap for 4 hours. I might keep it short and sweet. I have no idea. I feel like starting a podcast is way harder than people think. You think that talking as a profession, or these people that do it professionally, you'd think it would be easy to just talk, but you realize how many filler words you have, or you realize how hard it is for you to complete a whole thought without rambling into other things in between, which for me is the hardest thing in the world. So yeah, I don't really know what we're gonna talk about. Maybe a story time or two. Let's get straight into this wine, shall we? Okay, we are doing a buffalo chicken pizza with a Kabinett Riesling. I got this Heinz Eifel Kabinett Riesling. It is does it have a year on it? 2021 Kabinett Riesling. I got this at Pavilions. I get a lot of my wine at Pavilions because they always have good deals, FYI, if you're in the LA area. Let's read a little bit about this first before I open it up. So this says Moselle, or M-O-S-E on the right corner. I don't know what that means. And then it's signed by Anne Eifel Spohr, winemaker. She's the winemaker. Get it, girl. Heinz Eifel Riesling Kabinett is made from very ripe Riesling grapes from the middle Mosel Valley of Germany. I hope I'm saying Mosel right, or if it's Moselle. Anyway, these grapes are allowed to hang longer, earning the designation of Kabinett because that is where the wines were stored for special occasions. Oh, like a cabinet. Cabinet? Cabinet. Cabinet. Oh God, my brain now doesn't know how to say it. Cabinet. Okay. The wine exudes flavors and aromas of ripe apples, pears, peaches, citrus with floral aromas. Its slight sweetness makes the perfect match for aged cheeses, chicken, and cream sauces. Look at that, Wine Enthusiast. It's almost like they know what they're talking about because this buffalo chicken pizza is made with a white sauce. I always notice too that Rieslings are in thin little bottles. I don't know why. Is wine glass dirty? Show is. Show is. I know that this isn't the right wine glass for this, but I don't know what is. We'll get to that later in the podcast together, okay? Right now we're just going through wine. We'll get proper wine glasses later. Okay, so here we go. It smells super, super fruity. I hope it's not so sweet. Oh, I did want to say this. It has a little, kind of has a little barometer thing, and it's dry, medium sweet, and sweet. So it's not even supposed to be the sweetest, but I'll let you look at that. Here we go. It smells like freaking juice, to be honest, like grapefruit, like grape juice. Whoa, okay, yeah. Super sweet. Yeah, man, it tastes like sweet grape juice. I'm just being super honest. I'm not trying to disrespect that. I don't even think it's disrespect though, because from reading the label, that's kind of that's exactly what it is. But whoa, yeah, this is very sweet. I think this said apple and pear, right? Apples, pears, peaches. Yep. Literally just think about a juice that has apples and peaches and pears in it with some alcohol, and it's exactly this. So if that's your thing, then great. I don't know that I'd have more than 1 glass of this, to be honest. Also, the alcohol percentage is 8%, which means I'd have to drink that whole thing just to feel a small buzz, which I'm not proud of. Let's learn a little bit more about the Kabinett wine. Understanding German Riesling by the label. Love this, okay? Love this. Don't make me join your mailing list. Come on. Okay, to understand German Riesling, it's helpful to know the 2 primary facets that defined its wine, the origin of the wine and the quality/sweetness level. Fortunately, the Germans have done a great job of organizing these 2 aspects and even have a labeling system that will help you identify the styles available. And once you know the system that identifies the styles, you can hone in on the regional differences of Germany's 13 unique regions. The word for region in Germany is, Jesus, wait for this one, Anbaugebiet. Anbaugebiet. If you get past the language barrier, their wines are quite organized. Okay, well, I am not going to try to read these things to you because I don't know German, but I will save this image and pop it on here. Basically, Kabinett is right in the middle, and it just says like a more sweet. It should be like more sweet, which it definitely is. The most basic levels of German wine are Duscher, Wein, and Landwein. Landwein? I feel like I need to go back to school. Interesting is that it seems like Germany produces a lot of dry and sweet wines. Grams of sugar per liter, 148 to 88 grams of sugar per liter. That's crazy. Kabinett wines range in style from dry to off-dry. That's so interesting. This is like not even the sweetest one, which is so crazy. I can imagine having a sweeter wine than this. But people are into it. I mean, this just reminds me of like a Moscato, to be honest. This is like a wine that my sister would drink. Okay, what else can we learn? I wanted to look up an Eiffel Spore. Also, I fixed my mic. Last episode, I'm so sorry, you guys. I was like shouting at you guys. Like I need to be any fucking louder. Heinz Eiffel started the parent winery Romerhof in 1979 in the heart of Mosel Valley, Trittenheim, with the help of his daughter, Anne Eiffel Spore. They set out to produce a brand of top quality wines that reflected the distinctive character of the vineyard sites. The idea behind their collaboration was to pay respect to tradition while incorporating the inspiration of a young winemaker, Anne. So pleased with the quality and individual character of these wines, the Eiffel family decided to put their own name on the bottle, thus creating Heinz Eiffel wines. So cool. Okay. Yeah, so this company in particular, or this winemaker in particular, does a lot of Rieslings, mostly Rieslings, dry Rieslings. They have a 0 non-alcohol Riesling, which is kind of cool. I do see they have a red wine, a Shine Dornfelder. I don't know what that is. Let's try this with some buffalo pizza. Cheating a little bit, I couldn't find a buffalo pizza. So I got this garlic Alfredo pizza because I wanted a cream-based pizza. And then I put a bunch of buffalo sauce all over it because that is quite literally what they do at the pizza place. So let's cut into this. I do right off the bat understand why they wanted like a sweet and a spicy, or hopefully that'll kind of make this a little bit more bearable. I don't want to say like it's so unbearable, but I've just been drinking a lot of old fashions lately. Anyway, here we go. The pizza looks like it has a little bit of chicken. Looks really good. Yup, that works. Oh yeah. That's so lovely. Anything with a cream-based sauce, white sauce, it's going to be basically like an Alfredo sauce, which is just basically a lot of butter and Parmesan. I think like a dry white wine would pair as well. It just cuts through that creaminess. For this pairing in particular, I do think it works because of the sweetness. You have like a little sweet, you have a little spicy. Absolutely going to eat the shit out of this pizza. It is One Nature's pizza. One Nature, or is it Open Nature? It's Open Nature. I'm sure One Nature is great too, though. This is their gluten-free garlic Alfredo. One thing I also like to do in this pod is talk about like the pizza and kind of like the origin story of the pizza. So let's do one for buffalo chicken pizza. We did margarita pizza last week, and it was fun to know that it was basically picked by a queen in Italy because of the colors of the Italian flag were on the pizza, which I thought was really cool. The origin of buffalo chicken pizza, it is a spicy, flavorsome dish. It traces its origins back to Buffalo, New York in 1964. The story, as most recount it, unfolds with an impromptu late-night creation by Teresa Bellissimo, who was looking to prepare a quick, easy snack for her son and his friends. I'm sure her son and his friends were high. In the heart of Buffalo, where culinary traditions are as vibrant as the city, there's a dish that captures the city's spirit, the buffalo chicken pizza. This isn't just food, it's a culinary adventure. The spicy buffalo sauce combined with creamy cheeses, flavorful chicken, and a crispy crust offered a complex array of textures and tastes. It wasn't long before the buffalo chicken pizza gained popularity, emerging as a menu favorite in pizzerias. Okay, let's do one more little deep dive into the Kabinett Riesling. Apparently, Rieslings are quite the commodity in Germany. I'm looking at this Schloss Reinhardtschwassen. Macro-Brunn Riesling Kabinett. It's $1,100. There's some for $42. There's some for $182. I am looking at a bottle of Riesling right now. That is $5,000. $5,000. I'm over here talking shit about this being grape juice. This is like a delicacy in Germany. Am I wrong? Germans, put it in the comments. Best Riesling Kabinett food pairings. The subtle salinity and mouth-watering acidity of Kabinett Riesling pair well with Asian cuisine, particularly Thai dishes like green curry and seafood, or like sushi and fried fish. I totally see that. The curry and the seafood for sure. You could also pair your favorite Kabinett with roasted chicken, chicken wings, smoked meats, ham, and turkey dishes. Yup. Apparently, it is a legendary German wine for any and all celebrations. Yeah, apparently it's like a big deal. Interesting. Oh, let's talk about this really quick. You've probably seen this Riesling. Chateau Saint Michel. It's a dry Riesling. So if anyone's tried this, I'm gonna screenshot this because this is a pretty basic Riesling that I see on shelves all the time. If anyone has tried this, will you let me know? It says it's dry. Will you let me know like how sweet it is? Because again, I'm down to try Riesling and have a Riesling like just here that I just can pull out whenever someone wants something a little sweeter. But every time, like my manager came over this week, and I just have like hard liquor and like red wine, which is like, I think we covered this Riesling pretty well. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave it in the chat. Okay, so I told you guys I had a story time or two. My manager came to visit on Wednesday. And you might not know this, but I am an actress. I moved to LA when I was 21, all by myself. She has been my agent from the very beginning. And I thought it would be like interesting to kind of tell you how I kind of got here. She didn't even know a part of this story. And when I told her, she was like, what? I'll try to keep this as short and sweet as I can, but it kind of started in high school. To paint you a bit of a picture, I did everything when I was in high school. Like I did sports, I was a cheerleader, I did drama. But for the most part, I just did sports. I was decent enough. Like I got on varsity as a freshman for softball. And then I think for volleyball, I think I was varsity as a sophomore. So I was good enough, but yeah, I don't know. I was just like doing it because I was like okay at it, I guess. I didn't really like, I didn't really give a shit about it, to be honest. I would spend like my days and my nights like writing. And I was always in creative writing when I was in UIL. I was in like AP English classes and like writing classes, and I just loved writing. I knew that my passion was like in the arts, but I didn't know like what it was. So my senior year, one of my best friends passed away, and I don't know, it just kind of like shook something in my soul. I walked by the drama room and there was like an audition sign outside of it. And for whatever reason, I was like, I'm gonna audition for the play. Like, how hard can it be? Freaking auditioned for the lead of the play. Had no business doing that. And I freaking got it out of nowhere. I just got it. It was like my senior year. I was in softball at the time. I was a cheerleader. I was in volleyball. Like I was doing all the things. And I remember when I got it, my coaches were like, why did you audition for that? Like that literally is in the middle of your season. Like what are you doing? And I was just like, whatever. Like I loved it. I loved doing it. Like memorizing the lines was so easy. I loved being on stage. The people in the drama club hated me because I was just like some dumb bitch cheerleader that like came and auditioned for the lead and got it. And like I get it. That would frustrate the shit out of me too. So like I loved that I got it, but I was also kind of like, fuck, like everyone hates me. So like I have to be perfect. I have to be really good because like you can't be the lead and like have people hate you because you suck. Like we all hate it when someone gets an opportunity they don't deserve, you know, and I have to like make them think that I deserve to be here. So I took it super seriously. It was just such a big deal for me to get this play. My drama teacher at the time really just encouraged me and was like, you have just this unique like sense of humor, and I think that if you like apply yourself, you really do well. I just kind of ran with it, dude. Like after high school, I was already like a sophomore in college because I took classes as like a junior or something, and so I had like all these credits. So I needed one more year to apply to nursing school. So I went to college. I hated it. I tried to join like their drama club, but when you were at the university, like you actually needed to like have a drama major, and I couldn't go back and switch it. So I was like okay in college. Like I couldn't fucking pass chemistry. If my life depended on it. I think I took chemistry like 3 times, and then I eventually passed it, and then somehow I applied for a nursing program and I got accepted. But I was like, ooh, like when I got accepted, I literally was like, everyone was like, congratulations. I was like, no, like I was so upset. I was like, oh my God, like I have no business being a fucking nurse. Like what did I do? At the time, I just like couldn't do I didn't have any other creative outlets. So I Googled acting coaches and acting like agents and managers, and I found one in Dallas. And I'm not going to name her. Basically looked her up, and she had a workshop, an acting workshop in Dallas. I went to Dallas, and she signed me on the spot at this workshop. And what's so crazy is I remember I was like 19, 20 when I went to this workshop, and I remember having a fake ID, and I went to the bar after, and like one of the actors that was in the workshop was like at this bar. And yeah, I don't know. It was fun. We like went out, and it was like silly, but I was just like, what is going on? Anyways, sidebar. So yeah, so I had a freaking manager now. I go back to Texas. I go back to my hometown, and and I had a boyfriend at the time, and I'm in college, and I'm sitting in class, and I'm just like, I have a manager. I'm an actress. Okay. Like what the fuck am I doing in this chemistry class for the 3rd time? Kind of right away knew that I was not going to finish college. And when my manager was like, hey, I'm planning an actor's trip to LA. Do you want to come? It's in the summer. I think it was like in June or something. She was like, it's in the summer. I would love for you to come. We're going to do a bunch of acting workshops and showcases. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to LA. I picked up a second job, worked my little ass off, and I paid for this trip. I want to say it was like $1,200, which I thought it was like the most money that I've ever like made or seen at that time. But I literally like worked my ass off. I worked at Chili's. And do you guys remember America's Top Model? How when Tyra Banks has like all the girls go on go-sees, and it's like all these like girls are like running around the city, and they have like meetings like every 30-40 minutes. Like that's literally what it was like for me when I came here. She had like a little handful of actors, and we went to like all these meetings, and she had us go to showcases and workshops, and the workshops were just for like work and craft building, and to get in front of casting directors. But those showcases were the ones at the time were really valuable, because she wanted us to get either a manager or an agent here in LA, so that way we can work here in LA. So the showcases was just what it sounds like. Like you basically go up in front of a bunch of actors and actors, agents, managers, whatever, and then if they want you afterwards, they'll like contact you. So I got contacted by every single agency on that trip. So and listen, I think I was a pretty decent actress, but in hindsight, the only reason why I think that happened out of everyone in the group is because I was like the only Latina in the group, and I was young, and all I'm going to say is that this industry, is sometimes easier when you're a little younger, is all I'll say. Anywho, my ego was like up here, and I was like, that's it. I'm going to be an actress. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, everyone move over, I'm arriving. Like it was like, that was what I felt. Little did I know that I didn't know anything. I went back to my home, and I told my mom that I was quitting college, and I did. Meanwhile, I didn't have a full scholarship, but it was like a really big scholarship. Like basically I had my scholarship in financial aid, and it would have paid for like my entire college, which is like big. That was a big decision, but like I don't know, honestly, it was the easiest decision I ever made. And to be honest, like I would never go back to college. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just the type of person that like if I don't give a shit about something, like I just can't do it. I just can't even fake it. I can't. I don't know. Like I it was draining my literal soul being in college, and I could not do it for a second longer. So I quit. I got a second job at Buffalo Wild Wings, and my daily schedule for 6 months before I left was get up and run in the morning. I'd run like 5 miles with my dog, Lola, R.I.P. She was a Jack Russell, so she was fucking crazy. So she would like love running. And we'd get up and I'd run like 3 or 5 miles in the morning. I'd be at Chili's by like 10 or 11. I'd work until 3. I'd come back home. I'd eat. I'd change. I'd go to the gym. Or I'd run again. And then I would come home, shower, and then I'd go to Buffalo Wild Wings as a bartender. And I worked until like 2 in the morning. And like sometimes I would party at night. But otherwise, I would do it all over again for 6 freaking months. I had like maybe a handful of days off. Like I did not care. Like I needed to save as much money as possible. Moved here January 10th of 2010. My mom and my ex-brother-in-law, us 3 drove like 20 some hours, 24 hours or something. I rented a room for, I think it was like, I want to say $500 a month from a little Salvadorian family. They were very sweet. I transferred to a Chili's out here. But when I got here, I was basically just doing the rounds with all of the agents and managers that wanted me, right, on their roster. And the first agent, who I also won't name, was a very big agent at the time, right on Sunset Boulevard. And their office represented Eva Longoria. She was on Desperate Housewives, as you know, was a super huge major show at the time. And my manager in Dallas was like, needs to be your first stop, because if he signs you, like this is the agency you want to sign to. We'll hit the other ones up later. So I was like, okay. So I go there and he basically tells me, hey, so right now, like Latinas, that's how he said it. Latinas are really hot right now and I want to take you on, but I need to be really honest with you. He's like, right now there's a lot of roles being cast for women like you. And you know, they're even trying to find a sibling or someone that's related, that could be related to Eva Longoria on the show. And I think that you'd be perfect for it. The only thing is that you need to lose weight. So this is the part of the story that my current manager did not know about. And that's why I'm telling you the story. Before this man said this to me, I had already had major body image issues. I have been on a diet since I was 10, was in the gym for over 2 hours easily every day between like 12 and like 17, if not every day, like every other day, because obviously school and practice and stuff, like I wouldn't do it on practice days, but like just any day I was off. I had a strength and conditioning coach. I trained with like this boxer MMA fighter. I actually don't even know what this man did. I know he was training for something and I just like did whatever he did. He was way too old to be training me, PS. And also he would like put me in a sauna with him with like a trash bag over me. Like I would literally just be like in a bra and underwear with a trash bag, like sweating in the sauna. He really never like did anything to me, but that was like, what was I fucking doing? I was trying to paint a picture, okay? Like I already hated myself, was trying to get as small as possible, grew up a little bit, gained a little bit more weight because that's what women do when they're growing from teenage to like young women. Before I even moved to LA, I had already lost 17 pounds. That's why I was like running and then doing like doubles during the day in between both jobs. So to hear that I needed to lose more weight was just soul crushing. I was so young and impressionable. I just took what this man said as like truth because I didn't know any better. And also my current manager at the time in Dallas, like she was like egging him on. Meanwhile, this woman is tiny. She's like 80 pounds soaking wet. I mean, she's just like this little frail, like just tripod of a human, okay? And she just like does, and she's also white. And like, no hate, right, to all my white sisters, but I'm not white. I got some ass that will never go away as hard as I try. In fact, when I work out more, my ass gets bigger. Same with my legs. So anywho, she just like didn't get it, you know? So after the meeting, I'm like so stressed. I'm like dying. In my mind, I'm like convinced. I'm like, okay, well, my whole career is dependent on like me losing this weight, right? So I'm like crying and she's like, don't cry, like just lose the weight. And I was like, I'm not going to lose another, I was like, how much weight do you guys want me to lose? And she was like 20 pounds. And I was like, I will literally be 100 pounds. Like I will be 100 pounds if I lose this weight. Like that's not going to take me a few. And then my like operations brain that's like crazy is like, I can't lose 20 pounds in a month and I need to be signed like yesterday. I just wanted to get signed. You know what I mean? Like I was just kind of like, what the fuck? So she was like, we'll just go on more meetings. Like we'll send you to more meetings, but time being, like you really need to like lose as much weight as possible. So yeah, dude, I started just doing the exact same thing. Wake up every morning. I would run 5-6 miles. I started doing like marathons and shit. I worked at Chili's. I was making no money. I was broke. I I was eating, I had like this little, like, you know, those little like beverage fridges, like that's what I had in my little room. I had like a toaster. I had a microwave, like just like the food that I could eat was like the food that you could buy at like 7-Eleven, which was like all those tuna packs and like crackers and like and like literal lettuce. Like I would get like, you know, those little like boxes of lettuce or bags of lettuce. Like I would just get that and put tuna in there and shake it up with dressing and eat it with a fork. Like that was what I would eat all the time. Long story short, I slowly crashed out and did not lose any more weight. And I just burnt out and I couldn't do it anymore. And I never lost the weight. That manager basically broke up with me because she was just like, you know, you're like fat. No one's going to want you if you're fat. Basically telling me like, I basically can't represent you as long as you're not prioritizing your health. That's what she would say, like my health. And I was just like, then Lysandra enters the chat. Lysandra is my current manager, and me and Lysandra have been together ever since, and it's been since like 2013. And it was really cool because as an agent, I was her first booking. I booked Silicon Valley on HBO. I was a bank teller, and that was her first booking for me. We just have like this unique friendship, I think, because we both kind of started together, you know, in a lot of ways. I had booked one co-star, really huge co-star, before her with her like main agent. A lot that happened between me like moving to me getting like the best representation ever. And now Lysandra is a manager. So now she's my manager and she's with a management agency. And it's 2 women and I'm so excited. She had no idea that whole thing happened with like my weight. Why did we even start talking about that? Oh, she came over and we broke up with a bottle of wine and we were talking about new photos. And then I was just telling her like, oh, I don't like the way I look here, the way I look there, whatever. And then she was just like, what is it with these like body image issues? And then I was like, I don't know how much time you got, but it kind of starts since I was like a literal child. But if we're talking about in relation to acting, let me tell you. And she did not know about this male agent that basically was like, you're fat. I was 125 pounds. I was 125 pounds. And this man was like, can you lose 20 more pounds? Like, want me to lose my eyeballs, sir? Because like, I have nothing else to lose. Nothing. Anywho, bit of a story time for you guys. You're wondering what I've been on. My biggest bookings were Insecure. It was Miss Alvarez. Very small co-star role, all co-star roles. Before that was Silicon Valley. And then before that was my first role that I ever booked, which was a co-star, but it was a recurring co-star. And that is actually a really cool story. I was on a show. It was about the border, which I really loved because I am from a border town. Lived in Sherman Oaks at the time. And this was like 2013. So between me getting here, you guys, and 2012, I worked my ass off. I wasn't getting anything, and I kept getting good feedback, but I didn't have a resume, and it was just that point in your career where it's just like, it's a catch-22. It's like, to get hired, you need to have a resume, but to have a resume, you need to get hired. So it's kind of like, I was just really going crazy, and I just wasn't booking anything. And at the time, I remember I lived in Sherman Oaks. I was with my roommate. We were both on the couch, and I was just gonna get my period. So I was so irritable. I did not want to go. I was so bloated, but I was like, fuck. I was like, and I've never at that time, I'd never canceled or like said I didn't want to go to an audition. But I was like, I think I'm going to not go to this audition. It's a one-liner. It was a one-liner. I was like, this is not worth my time. But then I saw that it was in Northridge, which was like super weird, or Canoga Park, which is super weird. That's like, it was very rare when there was like bookings in the Valley. It's like, it's down the road. Just go, like, just get it over with. So I go. I don't even read the script. I knew that it was a drama, but I saw this line as like a comedic relief, as I see most things in life. And I sat on that chair and I said my line and everyone broke out laughing. There was like 3 people in the room. And I was like, oh, cool. But then I just got up and went home. I'll never hear from them again, you know? Well, I am driving and like 2 blocks in, my agent calls me, and Lysandra, at the time it was an agent, called me. She's like, you need to go back. And I was like, why? Did I forget something? She was like, no, you need to go back for a callback. And you usually don't get callbacks that soon. You get a callback for like the next day or 2 days later, you know? This time I go back in the room. This was just minutes, you know? Minutes within each other. But yeah, I go back, and this time there's so many more people in the room. I think there's like 8 people in there. And I just like did the scene again, and then everybody started laughing again. And when I got the call that I was pinned, so first usually like you're pinned, and then pinned just means like We're making sure you're available those dates. We're making sure you're SAG eligible. Like maybe they'll pin 2 people sometimes, and it'll just kind of like the last runner up, like it's with you and someone else, and like the directors have to pick or whatever. So being pinned is incredibly exciting, but they can still not go with you. But at that time I was like, oh my God, I'm pinned? Like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm famous. So yeah, and then I freaking booked it. And I remember what I was wearing, fell to my knees, and it just felt so validating. So many few times in life when that like just surge of excitement and joy and relief, everything just kind of like happens. Like, oh, I haven't felt that in a long time, and I can't wait to feel that again. But what made it really special is that it was a one-liner for 1 episode, but they ended up writing me in for over 5 lines for 3 episodes, and then they ended up calling me into the 2nd season. So that was really cool, because that was not what I expected. It's not what happens. And also that role wasn't really meant to be funny, and I thought it was cool that I made it kind of funny, because I guess I can be kind of funny. I don't know. I'm actually not that funny. I think I just say stupid shit. Anyways, yeah, that is a fun little story about that. I need to switch this wine out for a bourbon. So I'm going to let you guys be, but I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Share this with your friend if you find it funny. Share this with someone that wants to be an actor, because if they want to be an actor and they need some insight, although the industry is completely different now, I'd be totally happy to chat about that some more. That is also it for our how to pair wine with pizza. We're going to move on to a different post. So I'm super excited to do that for episode 4. So I will chat with you guys later.